might end up living in the same world. So could we do a combined combination where we would combine the two and have Cole Trickle and Sonny Hayes, Brad Pitt's character out of F1 the movie, somehow interacting? I got to admit, I don't know. I think that's something you might be able to do, but at the same time, I'm not really sure that is that the best move?
That's kind of hard to say. I mean, it would be intriguing for sure, and it would be an interesting look, but it's hard to say if it would be the good move or a bad move. We're trying to intertwine one together.
Yeah.
It's hard.
Yeah.
It's hard to say, for real.
I wish I could, I don't know. I would like to be able to say that I know for 100% certainty how this would work, but I really don't know. In the end, I think it might just be better.
Yeah.
It might be better if you didn't worry about it. I mean, that's all I can say. I'm trying to work out the logistics and the details in my head. I can't do it. It's not computing for me.
Yeah, the logistics are not working out for me either.
Yeah. Meantime, again, the success of the movie has Apple Plus, as I noted, in the lead for the U.S. rights to Formula One. Reportedly a bid that far outpaces ESPN's reported bid. That bid reported to be in about the same amount per year that they're currently paying, said to be about $75 million a year. Apple Plus's deal on the table says about double that amount. And again, Amazon Prime has said that they're in on the running for this as well. Netflix, even despite the F1 Drive to Survive success, they apparently had interest in it and then bowed out pretty quick. So it does appear to be, at least according to what we're hearing, between Amazon Prime and Apple Plus, unless there's something about ESPN ABC that just really has grabbed the attention of the FIA and Formula One. But I would think the monetary basis, the money being doubled, let's just be blunt about it, that's going to be too good to pass up, isn't it?
Yeah, it would really be hard to pass up.
Okay.
Time will tell if they do or not.
Yeah. And one more note before we head off here, and I find this interesting because if you're a huge Formula One fan, or if your kid is a huge Formula One fan, this might just be for you. If you got the right amount of money. No, I didn't price it. F1 has cut a deal with Pottery Barn to help people show off their fandom of the series. They are now beginning a line of home furnishings that includes things like bedding, rugs, wall decorations, F1-styled accessories that include bean bags and desk chairs. It's not available at all Pottery Barn locations, but you can see it on their website. I was too afraid, Matt, to actually go on and look to see how much that might have cost.
Yeah, I'm not.
You want an F1 bedspread?
I'm not.
Yeah, I think that'll probably we'll just leave it right there. We had some technical problems on CRN Live on YouTube. We do apologize for that. We are back from what I understand. We thank you for your patience. Of course, we're still running strong here on the flagship radio side of things, and we're going to keep rolling on here. We're going to put producer Matt on, or Coach Matt, I should say. Producer John's working hard on that end, and I appreciate his hard work on doing all that. Coach Matt, we're going to put him on hold. When we come back, we're going to get into some Cup Series and NASCAR talk.
Stay right here for more on the Championship Racing Network. For more action on the Championship Racing Network.
Welcome back in here as we approach, already just over 30 minutes left in the show. This thing goes quick. Myself, Steve West in studio, producer John working hard on CRN Live on YouTube. We got kicked off there a minute ago and appreciate his hard work in getting us back up and running over there. And of course, on our flagship station, Coach Matt by phone as he's on the road. They had to travel to their game this week, and a pretty good travel they had to do. So in the Cup Series here, with the sweep of the first round of the playoffs, Joe Gibbs Racing drivers have claimed 201 Cup Series wins for the Pro Football and NASCAR Hall of Famer Joe Gibbs. Denny Hamlin has actually claimed the most wins for that organization. Now, in a moment, we're going to show you some stickers that kind of are the equivalent of what Joe Gibbs Racing hangs up on the wall for each one of those wins. If you happen to be a Joe Gibbs Racing fan, you can actually go through their X account on Joe Gibbs Racing, and you could get one or all three of these stickers for yourself if you happen to be of a mind to. But that shows the three different winners at the three different races in the opening round as well. So who's won the most for the organization? Probably not surprising to you. Denny Hamlin's claimed the most wins for the organization. He's got 59 Cup wins. Kyle Busch is next with 56, so it was just really this year that Denny Hamlin passed Kyle Busch for that note. Tony Stewart's third with 33. That's right, he claimed 33 in rapid-fire fashion for Gibbs. Bobby Labonte's next at 21. Matt Kenseth and Martin Truex Jr. are tied next with 15. Christopher Bell is up to 13, so probably next year he'll tie Kenseth and Truex, if not pass him. Carl Edwards, with his short time with Joe Gibbs Racing, collected 5 wins, along with Dale Jarrett, Joey Logano, Eric Jones, and Chase Briscoe, 2 each. You might have forgotten Dale Jarrett having been a Joe Gibbs Racing driver. He was actually, I believe, was he their first Cup Series driver? Am I correct in that, Matt?
He was, yeah.
Yeah, because I know he claimed that Daytona 500, so that seemed right, but I wanted to double-check and make sure that I was right on that. Denny Hamlin, your 1 seed going into the round of 12. He's going to start the round without 2 of his regular crew members, or should have. Let me state that. Hamlin's right front wheel came off the 11 car in lap 384 of the race last Saturday night at Bristol. As a result, crashed into A.J. Allmendinger. It caused a caution, so that makes actually 2 problems in one. First, a wheel coming off causing a caution means an automatic 2-lap penalty, which Hamlin had to serve. Messed me up in one of my fantasy leagues. Now, per the rules, the crew members responsible for the wheel, front tire changer Austin Maloney, and the jackman, Joey B, as they call him, they're going to be suspended for the next couple of races, which you would have thought would have been this weekend at New Hampshire and next weekend at Kansas. But in a rule that I think probably needs to be looked at in this offseason, the penalty to the 2 Joe Gibbs Racing crew members, Joe Gibbs isn't appealing them, but there's a loophole in the rules where you can defer the suspension 1 race.
Right, yeah.
Hamlin will have his entire team at a track where he is actually pretty good at, maybe the best of his 3 tracks in this round. He's really good at New Hampshire Motor Speedway. The team wanted to keep the A-team intact for his best chance in the round of 12. So the jackman, the front tire changer, going to be on hand this weekend. Then they'll sit out Kansas and the Charlotte Roval. NASCAR's statement is that the deferment rule was added to the suspension to allow teams to defer 1 week instead of making the appeal to the decision in order to basically do the same thing. So it's a work around the rules. But to me, in a lot of ways, this is a waste of time. If you are going to create this 2-race suspension, should that not take effect immediately regardless? I always thought that this was an unappealable penalty in the first place.
Yeah, it should be get it done and get out of there.
Yeah.
Word it that way.
Well, and again, I always thought this was a penalty you couldn't appeal. Your tire came off on the track, and in this case caused a caution. There's no disputing that happened.
Yeah, it's clear that it happened. So with the appeal happening, did they find something that broke that could have caused it to happen? That's the question.
So is that why there is an appeal option?
I'm wanting to say it probably very likely is.
Okay. Because, again, I was always, for me, I don't know. Again, if you can prove that something broke, then I think you could go to NASCAR and say, hey, listen, look, this is what happened. But if you can't prove that it wasn't because they didn't quite get things right between the jackman and or the front tire changer, the guy with the guy with the gun, you've created the suspension in the first place. I think it should stick, and it should be in effect immediately. And if this hurts you, well, that's the problem. That's on you. That's not on us as NASCAR. You guys messed up, not me.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
All right. RFK Racing has announced their new team president. They've got Chip Bowers coming in to take over for Steve Newmark. Newmark left in August. He's taken the position of the University of North Carolina's athletics department. Bowers, meanwhile, has an extensive background in the sports world. Funny thing is it's all really in stick and ball sports. Bowers has been in business operations and sales and marketing for teams in leagues like the NBA, the WNBA, and Major League Baseball. This apparently is a lot of what, even though he's the team president, a lot of this stuff is basically what he's going to be in charge of as the team president at RFK.
Right.
So this, I guess, kind of lines up into his strength. I don't think he's going to say again. I don't think, and I guess the better way to put it is I don't think he's outside of his comfort zone here, in other words.
No, he shouldn't be, no.
Okay.
Absolutely not.
All right. I love this. Seems that Rick Ware Racing and Legacy Motor Club have finally done something that the other lawsuit, that famed NASCAR versus 2311 and Front Row Motorsports lawsuit, can't do. Seems that they figured out how to come to terms and settle it before it went to trial. Huh. The court has sealed all the settlement terms, so exact details aren't available, but according to what Rick Ware Racing has said, they have come to terms on a deal to, quote, sell and transfer a charter, unquote, to Legacy. The details of the sale and the transfer, like whether it takes effect this year, these things aren't clear. We don't know. Also not known at this time is what part the previous deal with RFK Racing holds in this agreement. Currently, RWR leases one of those two charters to RFK for the 60 car, and from what we have been hearing all along, the plan was to take that one back and then lease the other for the 60 next season, because the rules, as we understand them, you can lease out a charter for a year, and then you either have to take it back and use it or sell it. But when you have two, you can effectively change the assignment, and then they'll have to figure it out. I would think that there is a lease plan to buy, but if you're selling one of your charters to Legacy and you end up selling your other to RFK Racing, that means Rick Ware Racing's out of NASCAR?
Either that or they're just going to run as an open car.
I wonder what their plans are. We haven't heard yet.
Right.
So it's going to be real interesting to see exactly what the future for Rick Ware Racing is, because we don't know yet. They are being very tight-lipped about it over there. Time will tell. MBM Motorsports has reached a deal with Casey Mears, the 47-year-old veteran Cup Series driver, going to be running the final 3 races of this year. He's going to be at Talladega, Martinsville, and then Phoenix. They're going to run the Garage 66 Ford Mustang. The reason why Mears currently has 491 Cup Series starts to his credit. He wants to reach 500, he said. The Germain family and SI Yacht's going to be the primary sponsor for those races, an associate sponsorship coming from a group called Acrashore. The old Germain Racing team, of course, had Mears as their primary driver in that 13 car from 2010 through 2016. Their main purpose is to get to 500 starts. That's it?
Yeah, he wouldn't get it till next year. Definitely.
Obviously not, yeah. I'll be interested to see if maybe this will put him up to 494. So they got to get 6 more races in next year. I wonder if they would be willing to partner up with those 3, Germain family, SI Yachts, and Acrashore. Would they be willing to go 6 races next year? Obviously, they're probably going to try for a Daytona 500. That's MBM Motorsports / Garage 66. That's one of those ones that if you are a part-time team, that's one of the ones you're going to go for automatically, right?
Yeah, I'm sure they would. Yeah, for sure. So
the question becomes now, is it Casey Mears that ends up in that car? Time will tell.
Yeah, sure they will be.
If you wanted to go to the season-ending NASCAR awards ceremony, fair warning, not going to be in Charlotte, North Carolina this year. NASCAR announced they're going to take and put the NASCAR award ceremony for the Cup, Xfinity, and Truck Series in Scottsdale, Arizona on November the 4th, 2 days after the Cup Series season comes to an end. This marks the first time the award ceremony is going to take place in Arizona. It's previously been in New York City, Vegas, Nashville, and Charlotte. If you can't travel there, don't worry about it. You'll be able to see it on the NASCAR channel, which is the free streaming channel available on Tubi, Roku, Samsung TV Plus, Amazon Prime, Xumo Play. You'll basically, wherever you want to find it, you can probably look for it and find it. Cup, Xfinity, and Craftsman Truck Series titleists, again, going to be honored there. The champions of every other NASCAR series, ARCA Menard Series, all three of them, Whelen Modified Tour, Advanced Auto Parts Weekly Series, NASCAR International Series, the Brazil, Canada, Mexico, Whelen Euro Series, all of them will be honored in Charlotte on November the 21st. No word on whether or not that's going to get televised. Sorry, folks.
Yeah.
And then kind of some sad news here in that PRN's veteran announcer Mark Garrow has announced that he's set to retire at the end of this year. He's going to be missed. He's a guy that's been in and around broadcasting NASCAR for over 40 years. Think about that for a moment. For over 40 years, Garrow has been part of calling races. He's been part of the Motor Racing Network team. He was part of the old Capital Sports Network, where he started the nationally syndicated show Winston Cup Today. Remember that, kids? Ask your grandparents. He joined PRN first as a turn announcer. He was then a pit reporter, finally worked his way up into the booth where he is right now. He'll be on the call this weekend at New Hampshire. He's also done TV for the likes of ESPN, Fox, TNT, and TNN. Mark Garrow's got quite the resume. He is a 6-time National Motorsports Press Association Broadcaster of the Year award winner. He was the first recipient of the Barney Harl Award. He said of his pending retirement, quote, "To think that I've been broadcasting Cup Series races for more than 40 years, that I was on the air when Richard Petty won his 200th race, that I have done close to 10,000 daily radio shows, and I've worked with so many great people along the way. It has been a great blessing. I've always appreciated Mike Joy and John McMullen opening the door for me to work at MRN and the folks at Capital Sports for allowing me to build a radio network from the ground up. I'm also proud to have worked with Jay Adamsick and have also helped engineer Jayski.com's exclusive business growth." I have to admit, Matt, I didn't realize he was that involved at Jayski.
Oh, yeah, I did. I knew he was involved with it. And, you know, all those voices of, let's call them the voices of yesteryear that we've been used to hearing for all of our lives with motorsports, now they're phasing themselves out, and we're going to a new era. So it's going to be definitely different not hearing Mark Garrow's voice, for sure.
Amen to that. His final part of that quote was, "Last but certainly not least, I consider it a privilege to have worked with PRN for more than 30 years in the booth with Doug Rice, anchoring PRN's Garage Pass and representing a great company in Speedway Motorsports." Yeah, Mark Garrow, listen to him now for the next couple of races that he will do, because that is a voice that is definitely going to be missed. There's no doubt about it.
For sure.
Let's talk about the Xfinity Series here for a moment. Only one really bit of news here in the fact that the Hendrick Motorsports All-Star car, the 17th, going to get a new driver for this season, but it's a driver who has driven that car before. It's Craftsman Truck Series driver Rajah Caruth. Caruth, when the series heads to Kansas next weekend, is going to be in that car. The 23-year-old has 21 Xfinity Series starts to his credit. Got a best finish of 12th, happened back in Martinsville in 2022. Of those 21 starts, one came in the 17 car at Phoenix in 2023, where he claimed 14th. This is actually going to be the 17th race for the number 17 this year. 2 wins by the Moonlighters, Kyle Larson and William Byron, but also runs by 4 other drivers to date. So he'll be the 5th driver in that car. And for Rajah Caruth, again, not bad when you look at the overall resume of what he's done. He hasn't burned up the track by any stretch of the imagination, but he's been solid. Is this a situation where they're starting to groom him and see if he's ready to move to that next level, the Xfinity Series?
With him getting more starts that he's gotten across the board overall, I think that it is, in which he has a really good relationship with Rick and Linda Hendrick. So I think this is a prime opportunity for sure.
Okay,
let's put it that way.
Yeah, we'll see how the results go here. Let's go ahead and take this final break. When we come back, we're going to talk Craftsman Truck Series. Interesting move for one of the playoff teams there. Silly season in Formula E, not only talking about drivers moving, but teams moving around. And you say, how's that? Don't worry, details are coming up And the IROC series, we were wondering when their next time on track was going to be. They have made plans at least for the early part of next year, and we'll tell you about it next.
We will be right back with more on the Championship Racing Network. Go. We're back to the Championship Racing Network.
Yeah, making a run to the checkers here. It is interesting if you're listening to the flagship radio station. You heard the promo for tomorrow's race at New Hampshire. It talks about Christopher Bell basically in the dark. New Hampshire doesn't have lights, so keep that in mind. And last year, Christopher Bell was all but in the dark. He, we've proven that you can have a night race at Talladega, so to speak, because we were practically in the dark at Talladega more than once. They were in that situation last year with Christopher Bell claiming it at just after 8 o'clock Eastern time. Ugh.
Yeah, they start New Hampshire way too late, in my opinion.
Yeah, I agree. If you've got a track that doesn't have lights, start it earlier in the afternoon.
Yeah,
plain and simple. Start it earlier in the afternoon.
1 o'clock.
Yeah, 1 o'clock start time, Central Time. You want to start at 2 o'clock Eastern? Fine. 1 o'clock Central. That's the time. Truck Series team has made an interesting change because you think about it. We're now in the playoffs. We've started the playoffs. They have run, one or two races in the playoffs so far in the Truck Series?
One. This is a cutoff race here.
Okay, so they've run one race already in the Truck Series. And CR7 Motorsports has given their new driver, Grant Enfinger, again, in the playoffs, a new crew chief. They decided apparently they needed to change. Jeff Stankiewicz is out. Not only is the crew chief, he's gone from the team. He's not employed by CR7 Motorsports anymore. They brought in crew chief Michael Shelton as of this weekend. Again, Cody Rohrbaugh said about Stankiewicz, who's no longer with the organization, quote, Jeff has played an essential role in our growth and success. The leadership and dedication help position our team to win races and contend for titles. We're grateful for everything that he has contributed to CR7 Motorsports and wish him the best moving forward. It's that kind of a statement. Yeah, that kind of a statement tells me he wanted to leave. It wasn't them letting him go.
Yeah, he left to take something different.
Okay. All right. Shelton happens to be an Alabama native, does have a Truck Series title to his credit and 7 race wins to his name as a crew chief. He's worked for several teams in his years in the Truck Series. So we'll see whether or not he's able to crew chiefs have different ways of doing things. You know this. You know, you hear a different voice in your ear anytime you have a new crew chief, and you have to adjust to that. But the veteran presence that Shelton brings in this case, and being an Alabama, I don't know whether the Alabama native makes any sense because he's paired with an Alabama native in the driver in Grant Enfinger, but they have this common ground. There has to be a reason why. I guess what I'm saying, or what I'm asking, is there has to be a reason they chose Shelton over any other possibility.
Well, Shelton, he's basically a fill-in crew chief for that organization. He's done it before,
right?
And then he was set to be on a second truck this weekend, so they just withdrew that second truck and moved him up to the lead truck with Grant.
So he's been kind of hanging around CR7 for a while. The funny thing is they really didn't talk about whether or not he's going to be there long term. They are not talking about next year yet.
Yeah, he'll be there long. He'll be there long term. I have no doubt. Okay,
so you're feeling this is going to be just the beginnings of a longer relationship between Grant Enfinger, and CR7.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Okay, I guess we'll find out. That turns our attention over to Formula E. This is something that we couldn't get to in the shortened show last week, so silly season is well underway when it comes to these guys. McLaren, they couldn't find a buyer for their now mothballed Formula E team during the season. It appears, however, the series is going to continue on to next year with 11 teams, because what we have found out now is that a French car brand by the name of Citroën, no, they don't sell here in the United States, sorry, but they're going to field a team. This marks their first entry into open-wheel racing in the history of the organization of Citroën. Now, if you're thinking, I've heard the name, yeah, you probably have, and you've probably seen their quirky little cars before, especially if you watch a show called Top Gear. These cars are really, really weird. Citroën has built in the past some really odd cars. Go look up, if you get the opportunity, just do a Google search on a Citroën 2CV. That is a strange-looking little automobile.
Very strange.
But they're coming in full force, too. The initial rumors had them pulling Jean-Eric Vergne, two-time Formula E champion, and series veteran Nick Cassidy away from DS Penske and Jaguar, respectively. Turns out those are the two guys. That's who Citroën, I should say, is coming in with. They're coming in with race-winning, championship competitive drivers in Jean-Eric Vergne and Nick Cassidy. That's strong in a debut season.
Very. Very.
Cassidy, by the way, expected to moonlight in the World Endurance Challenge Series as well for the sister company Peugeot, another French company that doesn't sell here in the U.S. More information the team officials have said are going to be coming right about October 20th. So we got about a month from now before we find out more details on this. Probably title sponsor and several other things like power units and such.
Right.
Let's see what else we got. With the shutdown of the Noah McLaren team left their two drivers without rides. There was a rookie who shook things up for the team and the season just ended. He's found a new ride. That is with DS Penske. They're pairing him with Max Gunther. So Taylor Bernard, Max Gunther, they're going to be the new pair of drivers for DS Penske. When you think about it, for the season just ended, Taylor Bernard, the rookie, scored 5 podium finishes and 2 pole positions. He's the youngest driver in Formula E history to claim either a podium or a pole finish. Now, granted, they're only going into their 12th season, but still, it is interesting to note. Gunther in his
Right.
second season with his operation, having moved over from Maserati, got 2 wins last year. First ever 1-2 finish for DS Penske in Shanghai. That was done with Jean-Eric Verne, who, as I just noted, has moved to Citroën. But there is a connection because the DS Penske team and the Maserati team, both running Stellantis power.
Mm-hmm.
So probably not a whole lot of difference in the feel for him. So that's why he was able to make the adaptation so quickly when he switched from Maserati to DS Penske.
Mm-hmm.
So now they've got this rookie here. So you got one of the 2 American teams that suddenly comes out and they look pretty strong as a potential title contender. And DS Penske, at one point in time called Dragon Penske Racing, they were bottom feeders. They couldn't buy a championship point in a race. Now all of a sudden they look like title contenders.
Yep.
Not a bad move on that American team's part. Meantime,
Not at all.
Tag Heuer Porsche, something's up here. I don't know whether the relationship went sour, whether one of the 2 of them has a better opportunity somewhere down the line, but I don't know what it is. But either way, Tag Heuer Porsche, they and one of the few drivers that has actually been in the series since day one, Antonio Felix da Costa, gone. They've split ways, despite him being one of the pair of drivers that actually helped them to win the team title in the Series 11 season. The season just ended. Da Costa posted on social media he chooses to be, quote, happy that it happened instead of sad that it is over. Neither the driver nor the team has announced their next step. There are more seats available. I didn't do a deep dive into this, but there are more seats available right now in Formula E than there is, for example, say in Indycar. But those are drying up quickly. So for
Very quickly.
Antonio Felix da Costa, I get the funny feeling, even though he's, I want to say I saw this being 37, he's getting up there, especially in the world of open wheel in the FIA governed series.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think yet he's going to have a problem getting a ride. I think that time is coming. It's sooner rather than later for Antonio Felix da Costa, but I don't think that time is now.
Yeah. I agree with you. It's definitely sooner than later. But not now, for sure.
The bigger question that I have for Tag Heuer Porsche, who are you going to get that's better than da Costa was?
That's the tough one.
That's a big meatball hanging out there. That is a huge meatball hanging out.
Very big one.
All right, we'll find
big.
out. And if you like the fact that the IROC series is back, yeah, they're not running a whole lot of things. They've only run, since Ray Evernham took over the team, they ran one event in 24. They've run one event just a few weeks ago that we talked about here on the show. Their next planned event on the track won't happen until early April 9th through the 11th of next year. But at least they have said that they're going to be there. They're going to be in Charlotte, North Carolina, at the Heritage Invitational that's going to be happening at the 10/10 Motor Club in Concord, right near Charlotte Motor Speedway. Again, it's the weekend of April 9th through the 11th. Names like Mark Martin, Bobby Labonte, more to be added. Obviously, you've got now until April to figure out who else is going to be there. Cars, of course, range from the first year of the old IROC series to its last, 1976 to 2006. Going to run on the 1.7-mile-long road course, which will feature something that should grab the attention of not only myself, but Matt Nicholson, a celebrity pro-am race. I wonder how we could get into that.
You have my attention, sir.
There's got to be a
My
way.
attention.
There's got to be a way. We need to figure out how we can get into that. I'm going to start doing some searching on that. By the way,
let's do that because half our suit will travel.
And I'll be real honest with you. I wouldn't mind getting in on it myself. It's a race, by the way, that would, yeah, it would. It's a race that really cool, benefits Speedway Children's Charities. Whole lot of other activities. Single-day tickets and weekend packages for this, if you want to go check it out, are available right now. Go to heritageinvitational.com. But again, I'm more than planning on trying to check out and see what exactly we might be able to do to get in on that. That would just be... I've always... ever since I was a kid, and remember watching... Oh, gosh. I say I was a kid. I was probably in my early teens when I found out that one of the activities that took part in the weekend of the Long Beach Grand Prix was that old Toyota Celebrity Pro-Am race. And I was always jealous of those guys that got to race in it and kept wondering how I could do it. You know, and granted, you and I are not huge celebrities. Yeah, we're fairly decently known in and around the racing world, but I think that's really all we need, isn't it? To be able to say, hey, you know, we're in the media, we're in the racing media, and we would like to take part in this. Wouldn't that be cool? I don't even know what.
Yeah, it would be fun. I think you have to have. You'd probably have to have some form of an SECA Pro-Am style license.
Maybe so.
Where you can be able to, you know, take part in that. Because I'm definitely going to be doing my homework and looking at that, no doubt.
Yeah, you and I are both going to start checking that out. So we'll see what happens here.
Yep.
Should be interesting to find out. Coach, you got yourself a game going on. You're on the road. You are, I think, at the location if I'm hearing all of the stuff in the background going on.
Yes, sir, here you are.
All right. Well, as I said, as you were ready to take off, make sure the kids are awake, ready to go, even if you need to give them some, I don't know, Red Bull or some sort of energy drink. Make sure they're awake at the beginning, and because based on what you said that they did in the second half, if they could do that all game, you're going to be unbeatable.
We should be okay. We're
all
going
right.
to be all right. I've got them in the shade right now, resting up, staying cool, and we're going to get ready to turn loose in a little bit.
Sounds good. All the best, Coach. We'll find out about how that goes next week, okay?
Appreciate it.
All right. We'll talk to you then. Coach Matt getting ready to get his team out there on the field. Like we said, we've got really on-track action at New Hampshire is already going on. Full day today that is not just the Truck Series and the Xfinity Series. It actually begins out there with, I want to say, Modifieds took the track quite a while ago. Their race is probably already over. And then you got all the qualifying and all the other stuff. So a lot of stuff going on up in New Hampshire. And all the racing will be happening on our flagship radio station here in East Central Alabama, of course. For those of you that are on YouTube, we appreciate you. Don't forget, we are going to be live. Well, not live, but we will bring another episode of Cross Flags coming up this week. And we are on several different platforms when it comes to Crossed Flags now. We've added Spotify. We have also been on now, we've added another YouTube page for my regular weekday job from Monday through Friday. So if you're looking for Crossed Flags, there are all different kinds of places to go. But the two main ones for you, especially for us on the flagship station for CRN, is CRN Live on YouTube. And if you just want the audio of it, Spotify. Go check it out. And for all of those places, please feel free. Subscribe down below. Comment down below. We always love the comments. Love the chat. Thank you, by the way, Keith and Jeffrey and everybody, really. Athena, for sticking with us through the technical problems. We cannot thank you guys enough for your support. We thank you. We're going to do it all again next week. Plan is right now, because it's a night game. Again, flagship radio station is an Alabama affiliate. But next week's game is a night game, so we should be back at our regular time, 9 a.m. Eastern, 8 a.m. Central Time. Crossed Flags, hoping Tuesday, could be Wednesday, depends on how things go with all the schedules, because that obviously has a big part in it. Enjoy the racing this weekend. We'll recap it all next week and, of course, give you all the news of the week as well. Thank you very much once again for all of your support. We'll talk to you on Tuesday for Crossed Flags, we think, and next weekend right here on CRN.
This has been a presentation of the Championship Racing Network.
WD